the name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. Designers, creatives alike. We are in a world that runs on value. Our next designs will be the shiniest. Our next animation will be the most buttery. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Changers, let the games begin.
What is going on, EditorX Live? It is me, your host, Brandon Groce, here again. We are here with day 2 of our daily creative challenge for our EditorX 2 weeks challenge. So I want to ask all of you guys, how are you guys doing today? I'm super excited to be talking about and working with you all on our challenge regarding grids today. We have 30 minutes all about how to use grids to the utmost capacity and do some really cool things. So I just want to say hello to all of you guys in the chat. We have Adrian, we have SK, what is happening, and we have Dimma. And for those of you guys who are popping in a little bit later, a little bit early, this is just a quick hello to you guys. Want to say hi, and I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Before we go any further into because I just want to get to the projects. But before we do that, for some of you guys who are brand new and who are joining us, because we have been getting some of you guys in our Discord who have been finding us through YouTube, and for those who are doing the replay, and EditorX is totally new to you guys, I want to do a couple things before we begin. First things first, if you do want to join us in the challenges, first thing, if you are new to EditorX, you do want to go to editorx.com and create a free account. You want to go to editorx.com, go to start now, sign up and create a free account so you guys can start making responsive and amazing websites for free and follow along in these 2-week challenges. So, with that said, Adrian says, on time again. Yes, sir, you are on time. Good job. All right. Next thing, if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and join our Discord. This is the place where you guys get all the announcements of what is happening with new features in EditorX. Announcements regarding the challenges, what's going to be happening, and really the best part of it is you guys get to ask unlimited questions, and basically it is my job and many other people at EditorX to come in here and basically be customer service. If you guys have a challenge, we are here to help you. Literally, I send tons of video messages to help you guys overcome the challenges that you have in EditorX, things that you are having issues with. I literally get inside of your website, try to fix it, send you videos in regards to how to fix it, things of that nature. So, highly recommend you guys join our Discord. It's going to be a huge value to you guys. I recommend, first things first, you can find all the links for editorx.com in the description, as well as our Discord. If you are new to our Discord, just very quickly, when you click the link to join, you will be brought to the Get Verified page, which essentially is going to ask you to go to our rules and accept our community rules. All you have to do is hit agree. Then you should be able to unlock the rest of the EditorX Discord. And the main channels that you'll be focusing on, which is three of them this week and next week, are 1, weekly challenges. This is where we show you guys what the challenge is today, and of course the rest of the challenges for the next 2 weeks, and how to join, what's expected, all that good stuff. And on top of that, after each challenge day, like for example, we are going to have you guys submit, and I'll show you guys at the end of today's 30 minutes how to submit the challenge in our challenge section. And of course, the third most important piece is in our advice channel, the ask a question, where basically we want you guys to spam us with all the questions that you guys have, because this really helps us make really good content for you guys. It helps us see where you guys get stuck and help you through that stuff. So, with that said, let us move on to the challenge. And by the way, if you guys are having a hard time hearing me, if the music is too loud, any of that stuff, please let me know. All right, so let's move into our project for today. As promised, we are going to, let me see, we are right here. We are going to create this puppy from scratch today, and you guys can get the starter files that have all the assets for this project down in the link in the description. It should be the first link in the description for you guys. You'll get all of these shapes, our little cute bunny over here, and you will also receive, if you guys use Adobe XD, we also have the Adobe XD file if you guys want to use that, but we also have all of the assets individually for you guys to download via Dropbox. So, with that said, let us begin. So, I am going to basically use the same website. I'm just going to create a new page and we're going to go from there. And also feel free to, this live stuff, guys, is for you. If you have questions, just drop them in the chat live. I'll answer them. And I'm gonna raise my, there we go, my volume just a little bit. Okay, so first things first, what I'm gonna go ahead and do, and by the way, if you are popping into this for the first time and you're wondering how to join the challenges and all this stuff, obviously you can go to our Discord and learn all about that, or you can go to yesterday's video, which is all about how to join the challenges and basics on EditorX. Okay, so what I want to go ahead and do first here is I'm going to create a whole new page, and I'm just going to call this Home 2. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do with you guys is I am not going to focus too much on our menu here. I want to focus on the content. Okay, and to do that, actually, I'm going to duplicate this because I want to keep a finished version up and the version that we're working on, so we can use something to essentially cross-reference. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do here, and just to kind of dissect this with you before we get started, is I have essentially, let's go to my pages here, or excuse me, my layers. We have it pretty simple. I've hid the footer. We actually could delete it. We have a header. We have one singular section that has an image, a singular container, and within that container we have a gridded container that has a whole bunch of contents within it. So essentially we are going to showcase to you how and why we separate. Basically we segmented this one section, we basically cut it in half, and then we put a container in the left side of it. We cut that into, and you guys will see this, we cut it into 4 horizontal rows, and then we put our content into that. There was a good question on our YouTube, I think last challenges YouTube videos. Basically, it was a question about best practices on grids. And the question was, should you always put things in a container? And sometimes that is true, and sometimes that's not. And we'll answer that as we go along here. So let's just go ahead and get started. So as I said, I'm going to leave the menu for last. It's really simple. So let's focus on our section. Right here, we just have a blank section, nothing's there. So let's get started with that. First things first is I'm gonna select my section, go to my inspector, and I'm just gonna give this a height of 1000 pixels to just give us some room here. 1000 pixels, perfect. All right. So next, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to get my background in here. And this is an image as well. So first thing is I'm going to quick add. I'm going to get a image here. I'm going to expand it. And some of you guys might be asking, how did this image go behind this menu? Simple answer is the settings on this menu is that it is a pinned position, and we have it essentially overlapping this next section. Basically, if you have this pinned, so let's just show you. If you have it pinned, it will be over top the section that we're working on. So that's what we're essentially using right now, just in case if you guys were wondering why exactly that's happening. So with this background, I'm going to change the image, and I'm going to use our gradient that we have from our starter kit. And before we go any further, I'm actually going to delete or don't display the footer because we don't need this. All right, cool. So we have our background, we have our menu is already set up, but really, actually, I'm going to turn this off for now, the menu, because you guys won't be working on that at the moment. All right, so all we have is our section. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to apply a grid to my section here. Apply grid, and I want a 2x1. I want it cut in half. And from here, now I want to start getting all this other content in here. Okay. Now, if we go to, let's see, there's a couple other things out. If you guys see this, okay, there are 2 assets that are outside of the container. That is our bunny, and the other asset is this long image here that says Top Farm. So before we start with our container, I'm going to actually pull those assets in right now. So I'm going to go to my layers section. I'm going to quick add 2 images. I'm going to pull this one here, and I'm going to just duplicate this by doing Control D. I'm going to pull this one down here. I'm going to pull this one across our grid here. Change image. And I'm going to use its image 8. I'm sorry I did not name these well, but we're going to just bear with me. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I have this new image in our section, and what some of you guys might do, right, is you might bring it in like this, and you'll see that the width is 60%. Because what I'm about to do is I'm going to set this this image to 100% because I want it 100% of the width of the full section. So for me to do that, I'm going to pull this across, just like this. The width changes to 51. I want 100%. And I'm going to center it just like this. And I'm going to pull it down, just like that. Making sure it's centered, and that is good for me. All right, so we have our nice little tape here. Second, I am going to change image, get our bunny, update that. And now it is cropped. So to fix that, we're gonna go to our settings. We're going to reset image, just like this. And there we go. There we have a nice little bunny, just like that. And I'm gonna push this down just a little bit more. We have a lot of space. I'm gonna scale up our bunny, just like this. And with that, we're pretty much like halfway done. So we just did one grid, left and right. We have our bunny in the, I'm gonna actually center this in the right-hand side here. Okay, so we have here this image spanning across the two grids. We have our bunny that is stuck to the right-hand grid. And over here, now we're gonna go ahead and make some things happen with our container. So I wanna make sure I have my section selected. I'm gonna get these three buttons. I'm gonna quick add. I'm gonna add a container. And what I'm going to do with this is what is gonna hold all of our text content. So if we go back to our reference, this is where the moon is made of pancakes, trade, earn, win crypto, blah, blah, blah. And then we have our buttons. So to do this, and why we want to grid everything is because, and we're not doing responsive today, guys. Tomorrow is a full 30 minutes on responsivity. But today what I want you guys to get is how to structure your website so that you guys can bring this knowledge and information to tomorrow's episode and just skill stacking. Today we understand grid structure. Tomorrow we get into responsivity, okay? So what I'm gonna do is first I'm gonna take off the color here. Background is 0% color. I'm gonna apply a grid and I'm gonna do a 1x4. And just as you see in here, I'm gonna click, we have 4 segments. We have basically one whole section for the buttons, one whole section for our paragraph, and then we have 2 sections here for the moon is made of pancakes. And the only reason I did it like this, rather than just one text box across, is because of pancakes, or pancakes is a different text size than this. And of course, you got, you know, there's no one way fits all. So what I'm telling you is how I've solved the problem. But if you guys want to do this another way, you can do that as well. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and I'm gonna give us some space here. Actually, we'll do one thing at a time. We'll just get all the content in here and then we'll start pulling some things around. So first, I'm gonna pull in a paragraph here. We're gonna make this edit text. I'm gonna change the color to white. And we're gonna pull this out to about 2 lines here. We're gonna copy the text here and the font. We have 24 pixels. We're gonna do that exactly like we have in our example. Make sure I'm selecting all this content, 24, perfect. I'm gonna do the same for our title, quick add title, just like this, move it up to the top. I'm gonna copy the moon is made, paste that here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab, this is 80 pixels. And by the way, if you guys are doing this on your own as well, and you guys do have Adobe XD, the asset file or the files that I did give you guys can essentially pick out all the colors that we are using here. All right, let me see. I'm gonna right align this. I'm gonna try to get this on, okay. I want it all on one line. Hey, what's going on, Manuel? We need Pancake Swap to close the investment in the DIP network. I feel that. I feel that. So, as you guys can see, there is a little bit of a, our text is going outside of our container. We don't necessarily want that, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna increase the size of our container here. I'm gonna pull our text in a little bit. I'm actually just gonna give it a width of 100%, so I don't have to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So next, just changing the color of our text, doing a time check. All right, we're 15 minutes in, pretty good. I'm gonna just duplicate this. I'm selecting my text, Control D to duplicate it, pulling this into my next section here, grabbing of pancakes, just like this. And like I said, the size of pancakes is 120 pixels. So I'm going to increase that. I am going to edit this. Let me see here really quick. All right. It's made of pancakes. Now let me see what, I think we're using Montserrat here. Yes, we are. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to utilize that text. Instead of Poppins, we're going to just use Montserrat Light. And I'm pretty sure it's bold, not Montserrat. Maybe it's just Montserrat. Okay. Let's see what happens. All right, Montserrat bold. That's what we'll rock with. M-O-N-T. Perfect. And so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to click off. You guys can see that there are nice horizontal purple lines here. And essentially what we're going to do to get that is we are going to go ahead and go to our plus here, add elements. And we are going to grab, we're going to go to decorative. Scroll down till we get these horizontal lines here, and we are going to pull them in just like this. We're going to pull them into that container. We're going to go to our layout. We want the width to be 100% of that container, and we are going to center it. We're going to duplicate it, Control D, and we're going to pull this down to the bottom of the this grid down here. And ladies and gentlemen, if I am going too fast, please do let me know. I know I think I did a little bit, but a lot of you, there's a whole bunch of different people in terms of, where they're at in terms of their learning, what they do, what they don't know about grid. So please let me know. And some of you guys, you've been watching this for, since the last challenge and have already been playing in EditorX for a while. So let me know. Okay. So what I've done here is I've just, hey, what's going on, NFD? Good to have you, my friend. Thanks for making it. I know the time frame is challenging. All right. So essentially, what I've done is the moon is made. I just centered that horizontally, I believe, using my alignment tools inside of the grid that I have it in. Let's see. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to get this section or this gridded area a little bit closer to the pancakes here. So I'm going to select this gridded area and I'm going to just pull it up. Just like that. I'm going to come back over here, see what we have. Okay. I'm going to do the same here. And I think I'm going to center this. I'm going to give it a little bit more space from what we have over here. So next we have our buttons. I'm going to go to our plus here. I'm going to go to our button and I'm going to grab a gradient button just like this. One. And now let's go ahead and grab our color. So I'm going to go to my design tab here in my inspector. And I am going to customize the gradient. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal these colors that we have here. I'm going to go to my inspector, design and see what colors we have. So we have, I'm gonna just get this hex code, and it is 23147C for you guys who are on wanting to know what it is. I'm gonna delete this and change these gradients here. Boom. Boom. Actually, you know what? I think I might already have the, let's see. Here we go. That's one. I already saved them because we're still essentially in the same project. And I'm gonna grab, what is the other gradient? The other gradient is 7C137F. All right, let's see if we have that number. There we go, perfect. All right, and now we're going to steal the border color. So I'm gonna go to our border, go to our fill color, and the color it currently is DB16C7. All right, let's see if we can do that here. We're gonna go to our, we're gonna close out of this, go to our border. We're going to select a fill color, which we're gonna use this nice hot pink. Victor says, hey Brandon, nice trick. Didn't know you could drag the grid outside the layout grid settings. Very nice, Victor. I actually, hold on one second. I'm gonna try to reread what you just wrote. But my brain was like in the middle of something, read it, and that it didn't clear. So Victor says, didn't know we could drag the grid outside the layout grid settings. Oh, got you. You didn't know that you could drag, like move the grid outside here. Yeah, that's what I love about Editor X. Like, you don't have to deal with like numbers. You literally can just be like, I want you over here. I want you. You can essentially, like it says, drag and drop. And I am going to just change the text of these buttons. So I'm gonna select or just copy the connect wallet, change text and icon, copy this here. I'm going to pull and make this button a little bit thicker. I'm gonna do Control D, duplicate our button here. And honestly, what you could do here, there is another thing that we could do to have a little bit more control with our buttons. What I would highly recommend is, again, since we're talking about grids today, I would do a quick add, a container, and I'm gonna make a container for our buttons. Reason being is I don't want them to crash into each other when we start talking about responsivity. So what I would do is create a container, use this container to fill this spot here. 0 background. Marcelo, are you asking about the containers or the grid lines? If you are, and you say yes, I'll go through it one more time. And what I want to do with this newfound container is I want to give space, or a very adequate amount of space, for both of these buttons. And let me actually change the name really quick. We have trade now. And I'm going to go to my layers very quickly, and I want to arrange, I want to put the containers behind the buttons just for a second, but we will be putting these buttons inside of the containers. Inside of the container, rather. So, changing the name, trade now. I am going to apply a grid to this container. I'm going to do a 2x1. And what I'm going to do is I am going to pull, just giving the buttons enough room to basically be have their own space, essentially. Marcelo, yes, grids. All right, cool. So essentially, let me know if your question wasn't just answered by what I just did here. What's going on, Heartwords? How you feeling? So essentially, I'll do this one more time. So I'm going to delete the grid here. I have this container that I just made. I'm going to apply grid. I want a 2x1. I'm going to hit apply. And it automatically gives me a line directly right in the center of the container. I don't want that. I want this, I'm literally just clicking it, and I can drag it wherever I want in the space. And I'm just going to pull it right over here. And I am going to, from here, I'm going to select both of my buttons here. I'm going to Control X to cut. select my container, Control V to paste it inside of the container. So now you can see my container now has one of the buttons. I'm going to do the same thing here. Control X, select my container, Control V. Both of my buttons are now inside my container, just like this. And as you can see, they are now docking to the container that we have in here. So I'm going to get our one button, and I want it to dock and align to the left and the top of our newfound container. Now, same thing with this button. I want it to align to the left and to the top of this newfound container. So this keeps it really nice and organized. They won't collide with one another as things, obviously we're not doing responsivity today, but from a structure standpoint, this is a lot cleaner than having those buttons floating in a very wide open grid space. And if I wanted, I could obviously, I can select this grid here. Say the buttons are a little bit too close to this paragraph than I would like. I'm going to pull this, just like we did. I'm going to pull this down, giving it some space. And if I want to readjust this text up here, I can just use my arrow keys and it will dock to, you know what? I don't even want it to dock to the top. I just want to dock to the left. So we have some nice space. I'm going to, possibly give this just a little bit more space here. Select my container. Pull this up. There we go. Marcella says, so you just drag it? Oh my God. Yeah, you just drag it. That's WYSIWYG platforms, my friend. We don't mess with numbers here. Marcella says, I've tried this before, but I didn't think it was possible. Yeah, so this is what this is probably maybe something that you might have fallen into. So let me show you guys this, because sometimes this messes people up. So be really aware of what you're selecting, okay? So for example, if I am selecting my container, what EditorX will show me is all of my, if you guys see this, I know it's like very faint, but you guys will see that it shows me my grid lines only for the container. Now, if I had selected my container, my button container, it will only show me, well, it will show me a couple things. It's showing me my my grids that I've made for the parent container and my buttons container. And you really have to since I'm selecting the button container, you guys can see how my cursor changes and it's basically saying, hey, you can drag this, right? But I cannot select my button container. I cannot have it selected and try to edit these other containers from the parented container. I have to select that container here, and then now I can edit this. Does that make sense? So little tricks, you have to make sure that you're selecting the correct element that you want to edit. Marcella says, is this a new feature? No, it's not a new feature. You just have to be aware of the elements that you're selecting so that you can actually edit it, if that makes sense. So if you want to edit, if I want to edit this container, right? I need to make sure that I have my buttons. I need to make sure that I have this layer selected so that I can actually edit it. If I want to edit these grids here, I need to make sure that I have this container selected so that I can come here and start moving this stuff. Same thing, if I want to start editing this grid for my parent section, I need to make sure that I have that section selected. Now I can edit it. That makes sense? So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna add back in our header here. Essentially, the header is built in the same way that everything that we have done below it is made. So guys, this is essentially our challenge for, and I'm gonna push this down just a little bit here. Same thing with our bunny. Okay. All right. So I'm going to look at the chat really quick. Adrian asked a question, does adding containers in a container in another container and so on affect website load speed? That is actually, please put that in the Discord, Adrian, because technical questions like that, we're getting I believe starting tomorrow, we're getting some EditorX like technical people that are actually working on the platform and things like that. We'll be able to answer that. So I'm excited to have more community moderators to be able to get those technical questions answered for you. So please drop that in our Discord questions. And for those of you who did pop in, you guys can join our Discord link down below. Please make sure to go to, once you join it, go to advice, go to ask questions, and just type your question in here. We'll create a thread, and literally all we do all day is we go through these tons of questions and answer them as best as possible. And they just, they help us make our content that much better and helps you guys learn that much better. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions that you guys have here in the chat. This is really the end of our challenge today. So to publish this, and one thing I will state, the challenge is only to do the desktop version of this project, focusing on grids, containers, and structure. Because do not worry about making this responsive, because we'll talk about that tomorrow. This site will break, because we haven't talked about it, if you start going into tablet and mobile. We'll focus on that tomorrow. All I want you guys to do is make this beautiful on desktop so it presents beautifully like this. This is a good project, and this is how I want to see it in our Discord. And so what I would like you guys to do is publish the site. Go ahead and copy this website here and plop it right into our challenges right here using this entire format. So I'll go ahead and paste this in here. I'll take this format. Boom. Brandon. This is challenge in day 1. And go ahead, and that's how you submit the project. I will submit this right after the challenge so you guys can get a feel for really what to expect. But let's just take a look at this. This is, let's see, I'm gonna go to this site real quick. Boom, view site. This is how it should represent, guys. So, and by the way, there is a circle and a triangle. Those are very simple. I'll show you guys how to pop those in just very quickly here. I know we didn't get them to it, but it's really simple. They are already in the media kit that I gave you guys. And all you have to do is just drag these puppies in the actual section. These are basically free floating. And you can scale them how you wish. So just, again, hierarchy. We have essentially four free floating or 2 free floating assets within our section. We have our triangle, our circle, our image that is basically 100% of the full width of the section, and then we have our bunny that is basically, as you guys can see, it is docked to the center of the right side of our section grid. All right. So with that said, guys, I am going to answer the last couple questions that you guys have in chat. Other than that, please do make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and come back tomorrow, same time, same place, to have another session relating to responsive design when it comes to EditorX. So I saw Victor and May asked questions. All right, Adrian, yes, but it depends the strategy of your website. Okay, cool. May is asking, when you have a bigger container, will the container interfere with your other assets? I would love, Manuel, for you to ask that question in the Ask Questions. We are running out of time here, but I will be around in Discord literally all day. And if you have a specific example, I will work with you literally in the Discord chat after this, or through a video if you'd like, and we can start talking about solutions for what it is that you have. So make sure you put that in there. Victor, if you focus in speed, that's not a good option, but okay, Victor, you're basically, okay, you're basically answering back to Adrian, I guess. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. Again, my name is Brandon Groce, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the Discord, asking your questions. I'm there to help you guys. So let's get some answers. Let's get some answers to your question, and I'll see you guys in a moment. So thank you so much for hanging out. Don't forget to like the video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in our Discord. Peace out. Bye.
Responsive website.